Before we dive in, take a second to follow Classical Crescendo on YouTube and on our social channels. That way you'll never miss an episode or any of the extras we post between shows. Hit that subscribe button now, and let's push open the gilt-framed doors of the great opera houses of the 19th century, places where music and high finance learned to waltz together. The world's first billion-dollar entertainment venue wasn't Disneyland or Madison Square Garden. It was the Paris Opera House in 1875, costing what would be over $1.5 billion today. And the way they funded it? That's where this story gets really interesting.
You know what fascinates me about that? How they managed to raise that kind of money in the 19th century must have been quite innovative.
Well, that's exactly what makes this such a compelling story. They basically invented modern project finance. Half came from government bonds at below market rates, and the other half from a brilliant innovation, a dedicated tax on theater tickets across Paris.
So they created a special entertainment tax to fund the arts? That sounds remarkably modern.
And that's just the beginning. Let me take you back to Milan's Teatro alla Scala in 1778, where they came up with something even more creative. They sold 678 private boxes that families could own forever, like shares in a company.
Hmm, that sounds similar to how modern sports stadiums sell luxury boxes. What kind of returns did these box owners see?
That's where it gets really interesting. By 1850, these boxes were generating 8 to 10% annual yields through rental income, especially during carnival season. That was better than government bonds at the time. And here's the kicker. Some of those boxes are still traded today at premiums that outpace local real estate.
Oh, wow. So they essentially created the first entertainment right. But how did the theater itself stay profitable?
Well, they had this incredibly sophisticated three-way funding model. One-third from ticket sales, one-third from the city, and one-third from private funding through the Box Owners Association. It's like they invented the public-private partnership model a century before it became standard practice.
That's fascinating. And I imagine the artists themselves must have started catching on to the business side of things too?
Oh, you better believe it. Take Giuseppe Verdi. He went from accepting flat fees of 15,000 lire for Nabucco to negotiating what we'd now call revenue-sharing deals. For Aida in 1871, he secured a package worth about 350,000 French francs, including perpetual performance royalties.
So he basically created an IP revenue stream that would outlive him?
Exactly. And his publisher, Casa Ricordi, took it even further. Instead of selling printed scores outright, they started renting complete performance parts to theaters, essentially creating sheet music as a service, before software was even a thing.
That's incredible foresight. How did these financial innovations spread to other cultural centers?
Well, let's hop across the Atlantic to New York, where Andrew Carnegie was rewriting the playbook. In 1891, he invested what would be equivalent to $400 million today in Carnegie Hall. But here's the genius part. He chose the location knowing the Pennsylvania Railroad's future extension would funnel crowds right to his door.
That's some serious real estate savvy. Did it pay off?
You know what? By 1900, Carnegie Hall was posting 20% operating margins and paid off its mortgage 15 years early. But the New York Philharmonic took a different approach. They focused on building an endowment rather than taking on debt.
Tell me more about how that worked out for them.
Well, by 1909, they'd raised $2 million in gifts, mostly from new millionaires who saw cultural philanthropy as both civic duty and personal branding. Fast forward to today, and they just received a $40 million gift just to endow the conductor's position.
These financial structures seem incredibly resilient, but surely there must have been some close calls over the years?
Oh, absolutely. During the Franco-Prussian War, Paris lost an entire season and defaulted on some payments. And during the Great Depression, La Scala had to sell 10% of its boxes back to the city just to stay afloat. It's like an early version of government bailouts with strings attached.
So what are the big lessons modern arts organizations can learn from all this?
You know, it really comes down to four key principles. First, you need multiple revenue streams. Tickets alone won't sustain you. Second, Premium access sold up front provides crucial stability. Third, brand value actually compounds over time, even as physical assets depreciate. And finally, good governance is essential to balance all the competing interests.
Those principles seem just as relevant today as they were 150 years ago.
That's exactly right. And here's what's fascinating. When you look at modern crowdfunding campaigns for the arts or corporate sponsorships, they're really just new versions of these same models. The technology changes, but the fundamental principles remain the same.
It really makes you think about how we'll be funding the arts in the future.
Well, that's the beauty of it. These historical examples show us that innovation in arts funding isn't just possible, it's essential. Whether it's Verdi negotiating royalties or Carnegie leveraging real estate trends, the marriage of art and finance has always been about finding creative solutions to support creativity itself.
And that creativity and funding seems to enable more artistic creativity too.
Exactly right. And that's perhaps the most important lesson of all. If crunching the numbers behind Verdi's royalties, Napoleonic subsidies, and Carnegie's spreadsheets opened your ears as well as your eyes, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and that notifications are switched on. Follow Classical Crescendo on Instagram, X, Threads, and Blue Sky for many others' contents. Share this episode with anyone who thinks the arts float above economics. They'll discover that behind every aria lies a ledger.
Next week, we fast forward to the 21st century, where Kickstarter pages, Patreon tiers, and corporate sonic branding campaigns reinvent the financial playbook yet again. We'll ask how orchestras and soloists monetize in the algorithm age, and what happens when a crowdfunding campaign raises more than the average venture round. See you then.